You're listening to the Super League pod, coming up on your favourite Rugby League podcast. We've all got all your feedback, shout-outs and diagnoses, views from around the world of Rugby League. We forget the difference between shoes and snooker cues, and there might just be a little rant coming your way as well. Strap yourselves in. It's your podcast, the Super League pod. Okay, hello everyone, welcome to the Super League pod, episode 116. As always, I'm joined by Wigan fan Mark, across from me in the podcast studio. How's it going, Mark? You alright?
How are you doing, Tom?
I'm alright, yeah.
I nearly said howdy like I'm American.
Howdy, partner!
I don't know what happened then.
It's like having fog on, leg on in the room for a second.
How are you recovering from our Wigan 10k yesterday?
Yeah, it's coming up straight away. Yeah, not bad. Calves are a bit tight.
Same here.
My heels were hurting, like the base of my heels were hurting this morning, so that was a bit weird. That kind of cost me an hour or two's sleep, waking up with them hurting, but that seems to have worn off. It's just a bit of a tight calf now, but no, I'm doing alright.
I have a hip issue when I run long distances now.
I see.
Because I'm not that used to running them.
Right.
So I had that in the night.
Yeah.
That woke me up a few times, every time I rolled over. But
let's talk Wigan 10k.
Pretty good now, yeah.
Because that was yesterday, and it was a good little way to spend a Sunday morning, really, wasn't it?
It was good times, yeah.
I was really impressed by the organisation and the size of the whole event, to be perfectly honest with you. From sort of the route and the way that was staged and everybody that was involved with getting it going, to
having Jack doing the countdown for the starting gun,
and just the size of everything that was going on at the start with the stage and all the people that were there and the music they had going on and all of that. It was brilliant. And then halfway around, the Wigan Warriors players there handing out water to the runners and stuff. It was just a very well organised thing.
The brass band and that was great.
I don't know if I've told you this in the car on the way home. I might have done, but the cheeky bastard brass band, it will come as no surprise to listeners of the Super League pod that know what we sort of look like, that I was toward the back of the field, achieving a PB, by the way. But as my kind of, back of the field group came through, they started playing Eye of the Tiger by is it Survivor, something like that. So that whole Rocky theme tune, which seemed like they'd timed it just in time for us coming through, so I thought they were a bit cheeky. But
why? I'm sure they were just playing songs on a loop.
They weren't waiting for a group of particularly lardy runners to come through.
Some people have asked us who won.
Oh, you won.
Well, I was gonna sort of say it a bit differently. Neither of us won.
Neither of us won.
There was some far more athletically trained people than us at the front of the race picking up the prizes.
Yeah.
But out of the two of us, I was back over the finish line quicker. But you achieved a personal best.
Yeah,
I didn't.
86 minutes, which is not the most impressive time, I would say, for most runners, but given where I started from and where I'm up to now, I'm really pleased with that. So, and I've got another 10k at the end of the month in Preston. So my aim is to it's probably quite a high target, really, to shave 6 minutes off a personal best in the time that we've got. But I'd like to go under 80 minutes in Preston. Well, I was 86 around Wigan, so if it's a flatter course, I might be.
Is it chip timed as well, the Preston one? So then you should get an accurate time in. That's
exactly.
Cool.
So that'll be my aim, and I've also, because I've caught the bug a little bit now, because I was talking to my brother-in-law about it, and he and I have signed up for the 10k they're doing at Lytham.
The windmill 10k.
As well, the windmill 10k.
I'm signed up for that.
You're signed up for that as well. Good, that was going to be something I talked to you about off air. So we're going
to. We don't do our business on air.
Exactly. So well, but we've resolved not to, haven't we? Now
I beat our friend Barry McDermott round as well.
Yeah. Strikes me that for a guy who's about to go and climb to Everest base camp, he should be probably doing you in over 10k.
No, well, Terry and Wayne Godwin, they smashed it. They were under 50 minutes.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah. But no.
So what you're saying is Baz has got some catching up to do.
No, I think Baz is working on a a different area of his fitness, I'm sure.
I'm quite certain. I have got no room to mock anybody in this.
Well, I'd finished the race and I made a little call to Emma just to let her know how I'd done and that. And then I was wondering...
You would have had a bit of time to kill,
yeah. So I was wandering back over to sort of the start-finish area, and I spotted Barry, so I said hello, and finally got my picture with him, because Dave Cantrell wasn't there to not take the picture.
To ruin it, yeah.
And he said that he wants to do a guest spot on the show.
Which is brilliant, So
great news. So we'll try and work that in before the end of the year.
Yeah. He might well have just been nice.
He said he can't swear like we swear.
No, he's got more of a professional reputation to maintain, hasn't he? Yeah. So no, that'd be tremendous.
Tell him he wants to hear this week's and see how much I swear doing the Wigan review.
Well, this is it. Maybe we're going about this all wrong. Maybe if we clean our act up a little bit, we've gotten in with someone who's got some influence at Sky and can help further our careers. Perhaps if we
careers?
Our careers as the independent voice of Rugby League, Mark.
But if we worked for Sky, then we wouldn't be the independent voice for Rugby League.
Yeah, but everyone's got to sell out at some point. Wouldn't you rather get paid to do this? Anyway, we're getting off... sorry, I'm taking us down.
Right,
we're conducting our personal business on the podcast again.
Let's talk about other stuff we've been up to then. My week's been pretty naff. I've been working late most days, which... it's probably shown by the limited amount of interactions I've been up to on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. But you've had a big day today.
Yes, yeah. Today was Erin's first day at primary school, and it was wonderful. It was just a really proud moment for me and her mum. Really, I think people who listen to the podcast.
Cry?
I had a tear in my eye. Yeah, absolutely. I went round to Lindsay's this morning about half an hour before she was due to set off, so that I could give him a lift down and. Erin answered the door in full. Now, I've seen her in a uniform because obviously I've tried it on her.
Yeah.
But she was in the full lot and looking all grown. She had a little book bag in her hand.
Her hair all tied up as well.
I know. She's not going to be getting that off me. She didn't get her hair done that well with Dad. So I had I welled up a touch at that point. Not like streaming, but just, with pride and what have you. And then when we were dropping her off again at school and watching her just kind of start to interact with her teacher, who's lovely and all that lot. Again, I had to wipe a tear from my eye then, but she was tremendous, and she's come back absolutely buzzing as well.
Yeah, so good first day.
Like vibrating with how much she loved it, just like really wound up and excited. So yeah, she's done really well. So it's a new chapter for us all, but one that we're I can't believe where the time's gone more than anything else. But yeah, she's brilliant. She's really enjoying it.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. That's been about the highlight of everything that's gone on for me. Really, I'd had the week off work. Just hanging out with her. We went up Blackpool Tower on Friday, but I'll talk more about that later on.
Good stuff. Okay, shall we get on to the listeners then?
Yeah, who's been getting in touch? Are you going to not interrupt me this week?
It depends what happens.
See how we do?
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
Because you haven't got everything written down that I've got written down, if I'm honest with you.
No, well, there you go. So it could well happen.
happen.
You crack on.
Right, Dom Hodgson.
Whatever happens, don't let me stop you.
We'll start with Dom Hodgson.
All right.
At the Hodge on Twitter, if you want to follow him, I would recommend it if you don't already.
Yeah.
He said, I've been told to tell you it's Dr. Hodgson, not Mrs. Hodgson.
Ooh.
Also, how the fuck is the show over 2 hours long? There was only one match.
Well, there you go. That's we just deliver every week with the postman.
I tell you what, though, it was one of our best listened to shows of the year. Early days this year, we were doing really well and averaging, well over 500, over 600 some weeks.
Right.
But this was the first time we're going over 600 in a while for this week's show. So that was great to see. Obviously, since our capacity to store on our host server thing reduced, shows have had less time to get more listens, but this one's cracked it in a week. So thanks for everyone getting on board there. In fact, thanks for everyone for sharing it, for liking it on Facebook like we asked you to get on board with. More people can get on us there, facebook.com/Super League Podcast. The guys on there did a great job this week with liking our posts, sharing our posts, that sort of stuff.
Phenomenal.
More of you get on board, that'll be great. Same on Twitter, people sharing it, people retweeting it for us. That's because I've been busy, particularly. It's been great that everyone's been doing that. So I want to thank everyone for that.
And particularly the Doctor and Mr. Hodgson as well for their involvement.
Okay.
I just wanted to say it in that order.
Oh, right, okay.
The Doctor and Mr. Hodgson.
The order of the hierarchy of the household.
Exactly. There you go.
Paul O'Brien, he said, we talked about our running exploits. We did a 10k. We thought we were great. He says, I'm running the Great North Run with an amazing team to raise money for RL Cares. This is the team run by Matt King, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's if you want to donate to the team that Paul's running us a part of, it's a big team raising money for Rugby League Calves. Money's going towards the Danny Jones DFib fund as well. In that, it's justgiving.com/fundraising/10-year treble.
Superb.
So that's on justgiving.com. Look for 10-year treble. We should mention your Just Giving page, actually, whilst we're on Just Giving pages as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
you said you're in the middle of your 2 runs, and then you've got your cycling event coming up before the grand final.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, we ran it in. You're involved as much as I am in terms of you participated in the Wigan one
for the crap.
But it was we were running in aid of Refuge, the charity for people who are suffering from or fallen victim to domestic violence and domestic abuse. So our Just Giving page, if that's something that piques your interest, is www.justgiving.com/Super League Pod stands up, and I believe we're up to about the £200 mark.
Oh, brilliant!
Just below there, so that's really, really good already. I'm going to start pushing it a little bit more as we do the 10k in Preston. I'm probably going to incorporate the 10k in Lytham as well, just to as something to
extend the deadline.
Exactly.
Out a bit,
so just as something as a charity to run for, to include that along with the cycle as well. But it's a really worthwhile cause, as I'm sure we all agree. So please feel free to jump on and make a donation.
So if you're feeling double generous, you've got 10-year treble and Super League Pod stands up to visit when you're on justgiving.com this week, guys.
There you go.
Brilliant. Lee Whitnall, he said, a hard listen this week, boys. It was a bit like therapy, though. I feel better now. #Challenge Cup Final. #Rugby League. Then Lee also got in touch. He said, how many Hull players will be in the Super League Dream Team? Shaw may miss out to Dawn, but Snade, Ellis, Taylor and Houghton are nailed on. That's Lee's view. I mean, it's probably earlier.
Not even sure that Shaw would miss out, to be honest with you. I think he could end up with 5 in there.
It's earlier than we normally talk about this sort of thing, isn't it? But I jotted down my list, and it's actually quite different. Now, the problem I had was centres. I was starting to edge towards two left-hand side centres.
Right.
Because the best right-hand side centre... The best 2 right-hand side centres I don't think have been as consistent as the left-hand side ones. I've also not picked anyone that's not in the top 8, because I just think...
Why not?
Even though there's some standout performers, you could talk about Cudjoe at Huddersfield, you could talk about someone else, I'm sure. Kopchak and Griffin maybe even at Salford.
Liam Finn down at Wakefield.
He's in the top 8.
Of course he is. Oh God, yeah.
But anyway, and I also struggled with halfbacks because I kind of wanted to squeeze in 2 players who played in, nominally the scrum half position this year.
Right.
But in the end, I've missed one out, so I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
My fullback, Reece Hambry. People sort of forget, and you do forget when you get to this end of the season, but he was amazing for 3 months at the start of the season. Then when he went out of that Widnes side, they suffered a lot.
Yeah.
And he actually had a cracking game again on Thursday, for Widnes players who didn't give away.
He's very, very valuable to that side, isn't he?
And exactly, and that's kind of part of the merit in this. I don't think Hull have suffered as much on the odd time Shaw's missed out compared to Hambry missing out for Widnes, I feel. Then on the wings, I've got obviously Solomona.
Yeah.
If he's not in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he should be in Man of Steel contention with the tries he's scoring. He's approaching record levels in some people's eyes. Don Manfredi would be my other winger.
Okay.
Now, I toyed with this one because I found it, there's people like Swift who've had a great year. There's... there was others that... people like Thompson who scored a lot of tries. So there were other people in the frame, but I've enjoyed the way Don Manfredi has played this year.
Yeah, you've got to give a shout to people like Talanoa as well and people of that ilk.
That's another option. Yeah, in the centres, I've gone with Jake Webster because...
Good shout.
Because he's been absolutely outstanding. If you look at things like tries and assists put together per game, obviously he's had Solomon outside him, which has helped, but he's contributed to Solomona's success as well. Yeah. And actually, he's been a very big part of it. And you look at some of the games they've cast this year you've remembered, and it's been Webster coming up with big moments, big tries, big scores. And one bad episode, but let's not talk about that. The other centre, because I was struggling, and I was actually thinking, do I have to think Ryan Atkins might be going on it? Because as good as the Castleford left edge has been, how good has the Warrington left edge been as well, especially the Channel left edge. But then I decided, no, I'll just put Fanua in instead.
Well, yeah, exactly.
The other option would have been Gelling, but I think Gelling's missed too much of the season now at this stage, and now he's back to hit or miss Gelling, whereas he was the best centre in the competition.